Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sully Squad. We are, well, I don't have my usual squad with me tonight. We took last week off. I was thinking about taking this week off, and my usual partners couldn't make it, but I got my boy, my special guest here, my man Paul Spencer. So, Paul, I tell you, I didn't want to take the week off, man, because it's kind of the calm before the storm because we got like NFL free agency starts up next week. Eagles already making moves. Darius Slay got cut today. Bengals franchise tag T Higgins. That's stuff I could have talked about next week, but I gotta keep it real, man. I'm rocking this Joel Embiid jersey tonight, and my man's out for the year. And I wanted to come on here and kind of talk about this epic failure, which is the process of the 76ers. So, Paul, thanks for coming on with me tonight. And I put a question out earlier. Is this like the low point of the Sixers? I mean, I know, so I'll ask you first. What do you think? I mean, because I know, this franchise has had a lot of down moments. I mean, let's keep it real. They were 9-73 one year in the early 70s, which, I wasn't even in my dad's balls at that point. So I wasn't there for that. You know what I mean? But, you look at the process years, they were terrible. You had guys like Tony Roten and all these cats out. Remember them, dude?
Oh, brother, can we not talk about those dudes?
Yeah, but
wow.
But you know what's funny though? But my point is though, I actually think this is worse because this team was supposed to contend. I mean, you go out in the summertime, you sign Paul George, you extend Joel Embiid for 3 more years. I mean, and the guy can't even move. I mean, this is an absolute disaster. I say it's the worst time because I don't even know what the hell to do. At least when Sam Hinkie was here, nobody was tying up the salary cap. You had tons of draft picks, and you just sat there and you're like, all right, we're really going to blow, but we're going to pray that we get talent. Now,
Joe,
go ahead.
But no, you're completely right. I mean, 9-73, I get that. I was 2 years old when that happened, Joe. So thank God I don't remember any of that, just like you said. But you're right. I mean, trusting the process, Joe. You go through all these players, but is it all the GM, Joe? I mean, because of the fact that our drafting was kind of ridiculous at points, we passed up on many players, Joe. We went out and got, Joel Embiid, who was injured coming from Kansas, Joe. He had back injuries. He only played basically, just like he's playing with the Sixers here, half the games he played, he was injured in Kansas. We go ahead and take him. The process begins. Okay, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, we're starting to build the team here. We're trusting the process. But Joe, the thing is, injuries, bad contracts, I mean, can it get any worse? I mean, I don't talk about the 9-73 year because I was 2 years old. But, Joe, can it get any worse? Because screw the process, Joe. We talk about trust the process. Trust the process 2.0 is what a lot of people coined this rebuild with Maxey, with Embiid, with George now. Building the team. But, Joe, I'm done with the process. I am totally done with this, Joe. It's embarrassing. Completely embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean it's a nightmare, and it boils down to management, to be quite honest with you. Because I mean, you look, you could bring up a lot of things about sports. You know what I mean? And you look at the success of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, you get, ever since Jeff Lurie bought the Philadelphia Eagles, the last 25 years, they're what, like one of the top 3 teams in football and in winning percentage. And that's with a lot of, that's with different coaches. That's with different players, management. You look at the Sixers. I mean, I started watching the Sixers back it was 86. And that was with Harold Katz. And Harold Katz was a train wreck. The first year I watched the Sixers, they had a young Charles Barkley. They traded Moses Malone for friggin', they traded Moses Malone and they got whatchamacallit, Jeff Ruland, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Injured, bad knees. Then they had the number 1 pick in the draft, Brad Daugherty. They trade him for Roy Hinson. Totally screwed up Barkley's career. So that was what's the problem with the Sixers back then? Management, right? Then you go to the Iverson era. The Iverson era, I'm not going to say was management, and in all honesty, the Iverson era, I'm going to say I kind of put a little blame on, even though everybody loves AI, I put a little bit of blame on Iverson because he was so hard to play with.
Agree
You know
with
what I'm
that.
saying?
Agree. Yeah.
I put a little bit of blame on Iverson there, but you could also point to management taking Larry Hughes when the next 2 picks were Paul Pierce and Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, those
Right?
were the Croce days, weren't they? The Pat Croce days,
Yeah.
with that team there. And I agree with you 100%. AI was hard to play with, but Joe, he did take a bunch of nobodies to the championship, even though they got routed 4-1. He did. I mean, to me, it's just, see with the Eagles there, you build a team based on your rosters. Yes, the Eagles are loaded, Joe, but the Sixers are loaded too. But it's not a locker room feel when you have your star franchise player, is he playing next week or hell with that? Is he playing tonight? We don't know if the dude's going to play. It builds that camaraderie in the locker room because to me right now, the word I hate saying is he's a cancer to me, Joe. Why would I want to go play with this dude unless I'm chasing the money? That's the only reason I want to go to Philadelphia now is to chase the bag, Joe.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I mean, let me get a couple comments and then we'll get back into this. But Michael Kaepernick Jr. says, I've been calling for the Sixers to fire Morey and Nurse and bring in Bob Myers. Also, Josh Harris needs to sell. Well, he's not going to sell. So that's
no.
Yeah.
He owns 3 teams now. He's not giving up that money.
He's not selling. Mike Fuji with comment. He said, "What's good, fellas? How are you both?
Good.
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Doing really good. Other than the Sixers, they blow. Fucking horrible." Chris Rapizzi says, it's sad. I bet them to lose over Golden State and they won, messed up my parlay. Yeah, well, that figures. I mean, they can't even lose right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the games you think they should lay up, they freaking win. I mean, Jimmy Butler didn't play too, but still, like, it's a cakewalk over, the Sixers right now, and they freaking, man, yeah.
Michael Kaepernick Jr. says, let Bob Myers bring in Mark Jackson or Sam Cassell or Jeff Van Gundy or Jay Wright. See, the problem. Well, for Jay Wright,
not coming.
No one's coming here to shine this turd. I mean, this team's got issues. I mean, let's keep it real. This Joel Embiid extension is going to go down as possibly one. Him and Deshaun Watson are going to go down as like the 2 worst contracts possibly in sports history.
Joe, speaking of that contract, I mean, you look at that contract this year owed $59 million. Next year, 64. The following year, 69 million, Joe. I mean, honestly, how many games is he going to play, Joe? 452 out of 902 games total? This dude's not going to play a total of 246 games. He's not going to do it, Joe. What can you get for this guy? Honestly, nobody wants that contract. And even if they baited the contract, do you think he's going to play half the season, Joe? You're screwed. You're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a shame too, because like I don't, there's a part of me that I feel bad for Embiid because I'm thinking about doing I have an idea to do a what if show on sports, and like this Embiid era in Philadelphia is probably like the biggest what if in Philadelphia sports history because I mean the guy has the talent. He's like the most talented big man I've ever seen. You know what I mean? But he just can't stay on the court, and it's a shame. And getting back to we were talking about the management thing. Now, I know you said like going back to the 2014 draft. Like, yeah, I know Embiid was hurt. I do give the Sixers credit for drafting him and having the balls to draft him because, yes, 10 years later, 10, 11 years later. Right now, we're kind of screwed. But the bottom line is that no one else good in that draft came out. I mean, you had to take Embiid.
Agree with that, yeah.
Where I fault Sixers management is look at all the other picks they screwed up, like Markelle Fultz. You know what I mean? Jahlil Okafor. You know what I mean? The Zaire Smith instead of Mikal. Drafting Mikal Bridges. I mean, shit. I mean, dude, his mom worked for the team, so you draft Mikal Bridges. 10 minutes later, you trade him,
Trade him. Yeah, I remember that draft.
and you get Zaire Smith, and then a pick, and you use that pick to get Tobias Harris, who's then. I mean, think about how terrible this is. Like you finally get rid of Tobias, right? Like Tobias was like the poster child for being overpaid. You finally get rid of Tobias, and then the very offseason he leaves, you go out and give Paul George $250 million, and now he can't even. Like now he looks like he's washed.
Joe, it's so funny you said that. We've done many shows on Out of the Box, you and I together, and even by yourself. We always talk about who the hell is going to take Tobias' contract. We only got 2 more years. We only got 1 more year left. We finally get rid of that, and now we're back to not just 1 contract, Joe. We're down to 2 contracts. The Embiid and George contract here. It's Joe, I don't even have a word for this, honestly, because Daryl Morey is just the biggest idiot in Philadelphia. I'm surprised that this dude is still alive in Philadelphia, honestly, Joe.
Yeah, well, and to Michael Packman Jr.'s point here, he says the Sixers have to start somewhere, get managerial, and why not Bob Myers, who won 3 titles as GM president of the Warriors? Well, a lot of people are speculating that because Bob Myers helped what's his face? Helped Josh Harris as an advisor with the Commanders.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, he did.
I mean, that could make sense. Chris Rapizzi says Embiid hasn't been the same since the triple doink in the playoffs. You know what's ironic though about Morey? Like, obviously, and Stephen A. Smith brought this up that Josh Harris was supposedly Josh Harris was a little leery of extending Embiid, and Morey talked him into it. Now, this is so ironic though, bro, because the one thing I will give Morey credit for, Morey's actually been very good at drafting. If you look at this, I mean, I agree with Mike Papernick Jr. in the fact that, if Morey's the one that pushed for this extension, then he's probably going to get shit canned. Let's keep it real. But if you look, but ironically though, it's such a damn shame that Embiid can't stay healthy because look at the talent that they actually added around him. Like you gotta give Morey credit. They signed the French guy, how do you say his name? Yabusele?
Yabusele, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Great move, right?
Yeah, he was one of the MVPs in the Olympics. He played his ass off in the Olympics. When they picked him up, I'm like, oh, this guy's a banger. He can back up, Embiid, 15 minutes a game. Perfect signing.
Right. So that's a damn shame because look at what Morey's done. He adds Yabusele, right?
Uh-huh.
Now Jared McCain is hurt, but right. Jared McCain, they get him at what, pick 16? He's one of the top. He was one of the top 2 or 3 rookies to come out in this year's draft. You got him at 16. Yeah. Great pick. It looks like a great pick, right? Uh-huh. The kid Justin Edwards, undrafted kid, right?
Yeah.
Morey finds him. Now, I don't expect him to be a star, but Justin Edwards looks like he could be a solid. He looks like he could be a solid rotational piece in the NBA. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? So like, I'm all for killing Morey and like destroying Morey as far as like, hey, someone's going to take the fall, and it's probably going to be him for this extension and the mess and it also bringing George in and all that stuff. But the real kick in the nuts as a Sixers fan is that like if you had a healthy Embiid this year. Yeah. And everybody was healthy with all these supporting pieces of like the French dude and Oubre and Justin, if McCain was healthy, this would be a hell of a team.
And Joe, you're exactly right. I mean, based on that, I do give him credit on his drafting. I mean, his drafting has been great, bringing in players. It's the contracts, it's the contracts, the paper signing to these players. It's being too loyal. You even go with the Harden situation, going back to that situation. It was overpaid for someone that he coached, not coached, but he was with in Houston. It's being loyal, Joe. But you're right. If Embiid was healthy, okay, I get, even if Paul George plays half the games that he's playing right now, Joe, this team could still be top 4 in the Eastern Conference because you built around this dude. I mean, you said Tyrese Maxey can put up 30, 40 any night of the game. He could average a triple-double on some nights. Even Quentin Grimes this year, Joe, he's balling out as a young dude. He's playing Oubre. Drummond can back you up. Yasabli, I guess we call him, he's playing, great as well. This team could compete if Joel can be on the court, Joe. That's all he needs to do.
Well, that's the problem, because right now I feel like Embiid is like, and going forward, they're really screwed, because he signed up until 2029, $60 million a year. And the problem is that, they, I guess supposedly they're going to like explore, different avenues of surgeries or whatever. And the bottom line is, like, none of them are proven. And none of the surgeries are proven. So who knows what the hell they're going to do? The Sixers were hoping that he could play through it, and then the knee would actually like start to get used to it. And it's just a mess. He plays and then his knee swells up. You saw him, like, you could see when he was out there, he's not the same guy. He barely can move.
Joe, there's days where he just goes up for a rebound and he falls on his own, man. It looks like the knees give out right then and there. But, even before that, Joe, we talked about the Olympics, Joe. He goes over there as a dream team, whatever you want to call him. He plays limited minutes, 15 minutes a game, if that. But, Joe, to that point, when I see him playing the Olympics, it gave me a little bit of hope, Joe. Okay, he's coming back to the Sixers. He's playing here. He dominated one of the games, Joe. He dominated one of the games over there,
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, okay, this dude's going to come back to Philly. He's going to get in shape, and look out. We're getting George. This is the freaking year we're going. We're going to the chip this year. But then he don't play, Joe. It's the injury again. Well, why didn't you? If you knew you were going to have this issue, well, you can't say he was going to know. But your body's limitations, Joe. Your track record, dude. Go out and see a specialist. Go out and talk to one of these dudes. Go out and see fucking Aaron Rodgers doctors who had him back in the field in 2 days. Go one of these, specialists out there. If you need a surgery, get it done now. Get it done now, Joe. Not in season when we have a team that can compete, Joe.
Yeah, but the problem is that, I was listening to WIP last week, and like Spike Eskin was talking, and he was pretty much saying, like, there really is no surgery. Like, they went in, you know what I mean? Like they're talking to all kinds of different doctors, and I guess they're going to try something. But really, the hope was for him to be able to play through it. Now, none of us, all right, like, so none of us are Joel Embiid, right? And it's far from me to like try to judge another man's body. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not him. I don't know his pain level, but do you kind of wonder if maybe the franchise is a little disenchanted with him, because maybe could it be something where they feel like he could play through this, and he's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, he might have to learn how to play through discomfort, and he just doesn't want to do it.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because I was watching, Paul George doesn't do his podcast anymore. He says, I'm going to stop doing the podcast and get my ass in shape to play ball here, to actually make a run. But I did hear him on his podcast and a couple interviews say, it's to the point now where I'm taking cortisone shots. I'm taking shots to play. That shows me something like, okay, we don't hear anything about Embiid here. We don't hear anything about him. Is he just going to play through it? But you know what? I know my limitations. I'm not doing anything to my body. I'm just going to let my body heal the way it does, Joe. What do you think it is with Embiid? Is it just his mindset where, okay, if I'm out, I'm out. Oh, well, I don't really care. I'm getting paid anyway. Or does he have that mindset? Well, I'm going to do everything it takes. I'm going to do this. Like you said, we don't know a man's body, Joe. We have no idea. I don't know what you can do, Joe. You don't know what I can do. I get that. But how much blame do we put on Embiid himself, basically, for not trying to play through, Joe? But he does play through. There's a couple nights, Joe, where he played. He just couldn't move, man. It's very simple.
Yeah, well, and I was hearing, people were saying that he was getting shots, and he was getting injections to try to play. So, I mean, this, dude, maybe it's just the curse of the process, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like it just seems like, not that you could use this as an excuse, but it just seems like this. It just seems like that. Here, I got a comment here. Mike Lauro has been lobbying for them to trade him for a few years. So I give Mike credit on that. He said Embiid is soft. They will never win with him. Michael Packard Jr. says, Joel, go to Germany and get the stem cell done like some of these other athletes. Maybe that's what they got to try to do. They got to do something. Mike Packard Jr. also says the Sixers can do some sort of medical retirement for Embiid. Yeah, so I was reading about that. Basically, if he misses like a full calendar year and then he can't come back, and it's sad to say because he's such a great talent. So it's like it's sad to say this, but the future of the Sixers might actually be better off if he can't come back. He gets a medical retirement, and then they still have to pay him. So the contract's still a freaking disgrace. But then they get the salary cap space. So at least then you could rebuild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, I don't know what the stem cell surgery, does, but if he gets that medical requirement where he does, get a buyout to a certain extent, the cap space doesn't take. It's like in the NFL, the dead cap space. You have what you have. But I don't know, Joe. I mean, the process to me has just been so ridiculous. Like you said, going out and get these players, Markelle Fultz, man, a guy who has been a nothing in the league. Then Ben Simmons, we knew what he was, but he was a great defender, a ball handler and assist guy, Joe. Couldn't score. We were on his ass. But if you look at these two guys, Joe, really the process was Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. That was the process. These two dudes, I think, are in the top 3 in NBA, Joe, for missed games.
I know.
Plus money versus missed games, Joe. God, man, it's amazing what they done. We talk about Andrew Bynum. How he never played, Joe, his contract. It's the same damn way. It's something with the Sixers. We give contracts, but then they get injured. They get hurt. Is it the curse, Joe? I have no clue what the hell this is.
Yeah, and Mike Lauro says build around Maxey. Mike turned out to be it looks like Mike's going to turn out to be right about possibly trading Embiid. I disagree with Mike around this one though. Like I love Tyrese Maxey. I mean, I think Tyrese Maxey's a great kid. Right. He's an exciting ass player. But to me, I equate if Tyrese Maxey is the best player on your team, you are the Washington Wizards of like 4 or 5 years ago. You're never going to win. You're never going to win shit.
He's a John Wall to me. By himself, he's a John Wall. He's an explosive scorer who can score at any time of the game, take over a game, but they have no players around him, Joe. I completely agree. I think you can't build around Maxey alone. You have to me nowadays, Joe, it's a shooting league, but you dominate with the big man, Joe. And you dominate with the big man. Look at the Lakers, for example. You get rid of Anthony Davis, you bring in another shooter. Brother, they were 6th in the Western Conference. Now they're number 2 in a matter of 1 week. You build around shooters, players, but the big man in the Western is a little bit different than the East, Joe. It's to me, I can't build around Maxey. I can't. I need more than that.
Yeah, Michael Packard Jr. with a comment. He says, Kobe Bryant received stem cell treatments in Germany for his arthritic knee, which helped him continue his basketball career. Yeah, and to Mike Lauro's point too about building around Maxey. Let's be honest. I mean, how long until Maxey through Clutch Sports, because Rich Paul is his agent.
Yes.
So how long until he looks around and says, hey, you know what? This team's going nowhere. I want out of here. And I'll take it one step further. All right, so let's fast forward here to like next year. You're screwed with Paul George. Now, here's what you need to do. You got to pray that Paul George shows something, can show a little something between, he may not play much the end of this year, but beginning of next year, you got to hope Paul George shows something, and you got to pray that there's a veteran team out there that's like a Lakers or Golden State or a team that has veterans that want to go all in and take another run at a title, and somehow you could sell Paul George, get out of that contract. And then the other thing is, too, you got Jared McCain coming back. Now, what I would do is, we're going forward with this team. You got to see if Maxey and McCain can play together, all right? Which I kind of have some questions because they're both kind of small. So see if McCain and Maxey can play. And honestly, bro, if Embiid's out all next year and Maxey is like kind of wanting out, even though I love the kid, the way forward for this team might be to trade Maxey for like a boatload of picks. Trade. See if you could get like step number one. You see if you could get out of Paul George's contract, right? Like
Sure.
that's number one. You got to get out of Paul George's contract because this team blows. Okay, get out of his deal. Get expiring contracts. Whatever the hell you got to do. Then, even though I hate the idea of trading Maxey, if Maxey does want out, I see about getting a boatload of picks with him. The only way I wouldn't, obviously, is if you lucked out in the draft. Like hopefully they keep this pick, and say somehow you wound up with a Cooper Flag. Well, if you wind up with a Cooper Flag, then you go into next year and you say, all right, hey, we're going with Maxey and McCain in the backcourt. We're going to have Cooper Flag. And then we're going to try to keep the French kid or whatever. And then you're going to, see what you can do. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, if Embiid's going to miss most of next year, then next year basically is just you just got to like find out who can play and who can't.
Yeah.
So,
but you got to be the number one pick to get Cooper Flag. I mean, he's consensus. He's like the best pick since LeBron James, basically. From high school.
They only have like a 7% chance. I mean, that's where we're so screwed too. Like right now, I think we're 7th, right, in the draft. Well, Oklahoma City gets that pick if it's 7 or later.
Yeah, we talk about it. Talk about selling your draft picks, Joe, to build. Just as like what Oklahoma City did, Joe. When they had Russell Westbrook, Paul George and Kevin Durant, they sold the farm to start building and building. Now look at them, Joe. They're number one in the West and blowing teams out. But you're completely right, Joe. And I will give Mike Laurel credit because he's been on that trade and Embiid thing. But, Joe, have we missed the boat here? Because if he would have traded Embiid a year ago, knowing his injury process of what he had, could we have made more and sold the farm then to get picks? Because if we do that with Maxey, we have to do it now. Paul George doesn't come back next year healthy. If we know what he's going to be, is it time to get rid of Max and say, you know what, hey, he's still a couple first-round picks this year, next year, to sell the farm. Is it time, Joe, to get – because you're not going to be good next year, Joe. You're probably going to not be good the following year. Is it time to sell the farm because you're going to be in the top 10 each year to, let's just say, trust the process 3.0 again? What would you do?
Well, it's too – I mean, right now it's too – I feel like it's too early. Right now it's too early because I feel like you're in a holding pattern. Going forward, I don't think you can this team was built for Joel Embiid, right?
Yes.
Going forward, I don't think you can, even though he's a great talent when he's healthy, I don't think you can do that anymore. So I think what you need to do is go into this offseason. And then next year, you're probably not going to have Embiid. And then I think you gotta give it at least like 25, 30 games to see if Maxey and McCain can play together. And then you also got to see if there's any hope of Embiid ever coming back.
True.
You know what I mean? Like see how he's progressing. If he gets a surgery, you're not really going to know until he gets out there and plays. But they're so screwed, man. You know what I mean? Like they're really in the worst case. They're really in like one of the worst cases you could possibly think of because, like, if you're, my gut's telling me that like your gut's telling you that like this is done, like Embiid's done, and if that's the case, then I think you do have to be like, all right, hey, if we could get a couple expiring contracts and like 4 or 5 first-round picks for Maxey. Then just have McCain run the point and then rebuild, like you said. But then the problem is though, what if this time next year you get Embiid coming back, and what if Maxey and McCain show they can play together, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, you have a really good young backcourt of Maxey and McCain. What if they can play together? Well, then you might want to hold on to those two.
I completely agree with that. Not to change stuff, but you look at Boston. I mean, they have a nasty team out there from top to bottom. They took a flyer on Porzingis, who basically really didn't play when he was injured all the time. He got hurt. He came back in the playoffs, had a great playoffs last year, won the championship. And he went out and had surgery this year, Joe, on the off season right away. He gets in shape. And when he comes back, he's knocked down threes, plays inside the box in the paint. He plays great. They took a chance on that. But to me, my thing is you owe Paul George so much money, Joe. Who's going to take that contract? Just like you said in the beginning, this is Tobias Harris situation again, Joe, where nobody's going to take this contract. 51, 54, 56 million, Joe. You know, if both these players, God forbid, both these players, Joe, they're injured, and you know what, they're on the back end of their career. Joe, we just bought almost $110 million a year for two players for the next 3 years, Joe. It's just so bad to the point where I don't know what to do anymore with this team. I mean, Joe, I'll be honest with you, there's nights where, man, they're playing tonight. Well, what else is on? Well, you know what? TLC's on tonight. I mean, watch that shit. It's that bad, Joe.
Yeah, I can't even sit through them, and I love hoops, but I can't even watch them. I mean, they're terrible. Zach McDevitt with a comment here. He said people just compared Maxey to John Wall and then think Embiid will go outside the box like Kobe. What is going on? Let me break it down. The 76ers blow top to bottom. I agree with you, Zach. Rebuild, use Maxey as bait for someone to take on Paul George's dog shit contract. Yeah, the only problem with that though, Zach, is you can't trade the two of them together because they're both on max deals. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Like it's not like if a couple years ago, like when Maxey was younger, if Maxey was young on a rookie deal, then that you know that may be a move you'd have to do. But Maxey's on a max deal too, so they're really screwed. And to your point too, Paul, yeah, it's funny you said John Wall. I was actually thinking Maxey reminds me of like Bradley Beal, the Bradley Beal sensor. With kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, up to date. Yeah, up to date. Yeah.
Mike Packard Jr. says, besides Kobe Bryant, other athletes have reportedly gone to Germany for stem cell treatment. Cristiano Ronaldo, soccer, Rafael Nadal, tennis, Usain Bolt, track and field, all seeking treatment for knee injuries from renowned German medical professionals like Dr. Hans Wilhelm Mueller Wolfan.
Man, first I gotta give you credit for reading. I gotta give you some fucking credit for reading that doctor's name, bro. I'm glad you read that, man.
I tried. Hey, it's like Band of Brothers. Did you watch Band of Brothers?
Yes.
I love Band of Brothers. One of the last episodes, one of the U.S. soldiers shoots another U.S. soldier, and they're like, get the Kraut doctor. You know what I mean? So somebody needs to tell Embiid, yo, go over there and go over to the Kraut doctor in Germany.
Exactly.
You know?
But Joe, those guys were freaking legends. Like I don't watch a lot of tennis and I don't watch soccer at all, but I know who Ronaldo is and I know who Nadal is and Usain Bolt, dude. Embiid, get your ass over there, dude. If it does work 50%, at least you'll give us 10 more games. I'm cool with that. Get your ass over there.
Yeah, Keith Butler says, I trust the process like I trust a $2 whore. Hey man, I hear you on that. That's about all the process is worth right now. Chris Rapizzi paid Harris over Jimmy. Yeah, you know what's funny too. Like we're talking about the worst contracts in sports, and like Embiid's is going to probably turn out to be the worst, along with Deshaun Watson. So when Keith Butler talks about $2 whores, you know, I'm thinking of Deshaun Watson going and getting massages, you know.
100%.
And sadly, what's his face? Oh shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, Paul George's contract's looks like it might wind up being up there too, you know?
That's insane. The contracts. I mean, Morey to me, Joe, is a great drafter. He can draft players, Joe, but to me, he's the worst contract negotiator. You know, me being a Cowboys fan, Joe, I'm in the same boat with Jerry Jones. Great drafter, you know, the last 5 or 6 years. But when it comes to contracts and signings, dude, man, give it up, man. Just go meet Howie Roseman, sit in his office for a day and learn the damn the books, dude. Seriously, you know, it's amazing, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know what to do, man, because I don't, and you don't even really know what the plan is. You really don't know what plan it is. I mean, because like it's easy for us to say, oh, okay, no problem. We'll find somebody to take Paul George. Well, who the hell's going to take Paul George? So you, in reality, this franchise is probably stuck for 3 more years for Paul George, unless unless he really shows something next year and there's another desperate team out there. You know what I'm saying? We're screwed.
This to all Sixer fans, Joe, just feels like Tobias Harris all over again. We were so enamored by getting rid of him, but it's who's going to take? Oh shit, who's going to take the contract, Joe? I don't think anybody is.
Yeah, Chris Rapizzi says Paul Embiid is your Dak.
Well, at least Dak plays more games, man. He played but got injured, so there's a little difference there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's just so sad though. Like, just looking at this, like right before Embiid, I mean, think about it. Like a week or two before Embiid gets hurt last year, this dude puts up 70 points against Victor Wembanyama, the future face of the NBA. He's on pace for another MVP season. And now all of a sudden we're looking at a guy that looks like he doesn't have a career anymore. Isn't it horrible? Oh. But damn, Chris, I think you got Paul with that Dak contract. He's speechless. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like Paul's frozen. I don't know, Chris, you got him, man. You started bringing up the Cowboys. Next thing you know, my man can't even speak. But yeah, man. So I don't know. It's just it's really sad. I mean, you watching this team, and especially as a season ticket holder too, because they're giving out an email this week to see who wants to re-up their tickets, and it's like, I mean, my God, good luck trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're trying to sell Sixers tickets is like, Christ, I don't know. It's like trying to sell ice. It's trying to sell ice to the Eskimos. You know what I mean? Like, how you gonna do that? So yeah, I just don't. Oh, here we go. Hey, Paul.
My apologies. My freaking cat just ran over the thing, Joe, and pulled my internet out real quick. I feel like I'm about to punt her just like I want to punt Joel Embiid.
No, me and Chris Rapizzi was laughing because it was funny because he got you on the Dak thing. I'm like, man, you got him speechless, bro.
Nah, Chris, listen, as a Cowboys fan, I'm over the situation. I know we suck. And you know me, I keep it real. I give all the Eagles fans, the organization props 100%. What's 29 more years, dude? It's been 29 more years. What's another 29? I take the punches as they come.
Well, I feel pretty confident in saying this, Paul. The Dallas Cowboys are much closer to a Super Bowl right now than the Philadelphia 76ers are to win a world championship.
Yeah, that's pretty damn bad, Joe. That's really bad.
So, I mean, the way the Sixers are looking, when us Sixers fans signed up for this process back in 2013, I mean, we thought we were signing up for maybe, they're going to blow for say maybe 2-3 years, start gradually getting better. I mean, we're 12 years in, honestly, dude, we might be, are we looking at a Dallas Cowboys 29 years, hey, process is still going on, you know what I mean?
Well, the crazy thing is, though, at least you don't have players on your team saying, well, we could have won if I was healthy and all this bullshit, Joe. At least your owner's not saying we're all in every year. At least he does go out and get players, Joe. I give you that. More is signing players, but I'm just speechless, Joe. I'm just speechless about this team because it's to the point, Joe, where you and I were talking today. It's fucked up, Joe, that you can get a seat for $5 to a game now.
Oh, dude, it's like the process. You could go. I mean, first off, I have no desire to go down there right now. But just say you wanted to bring your family down. Hey, man. Dude, you could probably bring your whole family down that, John, for that's dudes. You know who that could bring their kid down there? Friggin' Evander Holyfield with 11 dudes, 11 kids. Evander with all. By the way, Arnold. No, it's George Foreman's old kid.
George Foreman, Joe. You had me cracking up there when you said Holyfield. George Foreman has 39 kids. Yeah.
All right. So George Foreman, and they're all named George. All right, so George Foreman could come to Philadelphia if he wanted to, sit in like one of the top sections, and my man could drop like probably 25, $30 with the fees and buy like 11 of them Johns and take a whole and spend like $30 total.
Bro, you remember before when they had those tickets, like when the process was going on before the process, it's like 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas for $40. You know what I mean? Now you can get shit cheaper anyway. I mean, the tickets alone, $3 a ticket, just like you said, George Foreman brings his 20 kids in there. Well, that's $60 to bring your whole goddamn family, plus the nieces and nephews too. Joe, I know you have season tickets, man. How does that bother you, honestly? Because I have Penguins tickets, and it's just to the point where both teams, Joe, are shitting the bed this year. And regardless, first, we're fans and foremost of the game, number one. But Joe, it's taking a beating on my pocket. I'm barely breaking even on the Penguins this year, Joe.
Yeah, no, it's but the funny thing about the NBA though is like people still go out to watch the opposing team. Like when the Warriors were coming, when the Warriors were in town the other night, like now I don't know, they might have gone down Saturday, but like those Johns were going for like top level still like $90 to $100.
Okay, depending on who they're playing. Okay.
Because people wanted to see Steph Curry. I just out of curiosity, I was actually trying. I don't know. Oh, here we go. I was trying to see if I could see how much they're going for right now. Because this would be really funny. Because we're 15 minutes before tip off. So let's see what we can get it. All right. So you can get section 222, row 8. You could go to the Sixers game for $3. All right. So hang on, yeah, you got 2 tickets right here. Section 222, row 8, $3. It says amazing deal. Well, Jesus Christ, of course it's amazing deal. It's $3, dude. You know what's funny? I mean, it probably costs money to go. It would probably cost more money to go to a playground. You probably go to like 22nd and Diamond and have to pay more.
Exactly. Oh my God, $3, dude. That is, dude. A fucking homeless guy can scrounge up $3 to go to a game and sit in the nice heated Wells Fargo for fucking 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like he can panhandle fucking $3, Joe. Shit.
I know. You know what's so funny? I'm going on here as if I'm buying these Johns, right? And I'm like, I'm sitting here, and I'm like, oh man, let me make sure I don't buy them, dude. Even if I bought them, what would I mean? Oh damn, I'm out $8. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like the thing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Let me see how much this John would cost. All right, so. All right, wait. Confirm how many I'd like to purchase. Let's see. Continue. All right, I don't want to actually buy. Oh shit! Hang on.
You didn't buy them, did you?
I hope not. Well, even if I did, big deal. I'm out like $9. No, I didn't. I didn't finalize it. Yeah, because it ain't like I'm going to get down Wells Fargo in like 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right.
Not that I would. I mean, to be honest with you, like the way they're playing right now, I mean, shit, they'd have to pay me to go down that John.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, and you don't even know who's playing. Like I think Portland's got a bunch of dudes out. That's another thing too. Not to go on a rant. The NBA in general blows though. The NBA blows. Like the other night. Like I mean, all right. I'll give Jimmy Butler a pass because supposedly he's been playing every game for Golden State,
right.
and they were saying on the TV that he did get hurt, like the game before. But how many times, Paul, do you turn on one of these games and it could be like a nationally televised game and you're like, oh, you got, Phoenix Suns versus, I don't know, dude, name a team. Milwaukee. Milwaukee, right?
Yep.
And then like they're advertising all week. They're like, oh, we got Suns, Milwaukee. You go to turn it on, bro. No Kevin Durant. No Bradley Beal, then
no Booker, nobody.
Yep. Like I don't. This, I mean, that's another thing. Like, not only did the Sixers really blow,
the whole NBA
you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to take it one step further, man. Like, if there's ever a league that needs like a lockout, it's the NBA, bro.
I agree with you, Joe. I mean, Joe, you and I bet all the time, and it's just like I love watching NBA action. I love betting on it, Joe, but I won't bet on the NBA, brother, until 5 minutes before the game, and it's a single line because it happened to me 3 nights ago. Actually, I had a 6-game parlay, and all I needed was, I think it was It was LA.
Mm.
This was a game that Luka was averaging like 25 points, and they already said LeBron was out. Luka didn't play. And I'm like, plus -12, I took, I'm like, -6 there. That's half the line. None of these dudes played. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And it was a game time decision, Joe. Like, to me, the NBA is so soft, Joe. I'm old school, dude. Play with a broken nose. Play with a broken finger. I look at Kobe Bryant, my favorite player. Joe, I look at the videos where the trainer popped his finger back in place from a broken finger. He walked up to the line with an Achilles injury, though. Joe, a torn Achilles, still hit his free throws, dude. Nowadays, it's like, woke up, I got the sniffles today. I ain't fucking playing. It's bullshit, Joe. It really is. It's too soft.
I know. I agree. And Mike Pappert Jr. says the whole NBA's blown for years. I got to be honest with you, Mike. I tend to agree with you. I mean, and then look at look at the difference. You had two different sports, and and it sucks too for me because, like, don't get me wrong, I like hockey. I'm a hockey guy. I like hockey, but my heart of hearts, dude, I can't help it. I like basketball more than hockey. You know what I mean? Like I just do. It's, you know what I mean? I've always liked the NBA. I've always liked basketball more than hockey. Do I love the Flyers? Yes. Do I love hockey? Yeah, I love hockey. But, like, if I'm going 4 for 4, hockey's my fourth. You know what I'm saying?
Agree, me too. Yeah.
But I got to keep it 100. A couple weeks ago, when they had the NBA All-Star game, was like the biggest joke in like the history of mankind. Like, LeBron, LeBron. By the way, too, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but there was somebody had on a podcast that, like, LeBron, like, kind of like dissed Larry Bird. I'll tell you what, man.
What? I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah, there was a dude on TikTok saying that, like, LeBron, like, kind of, I don't know if it's true. So I don't want to, like, talk shit if it's not true, but there was a few people that were saying, like, Larry Bird was talking about the importance of, like, playing all-star games and shit like that, and, like, LeBron kind of side-eyed him. I'll tell you, if I had one wish, don't get me wrong, obviously LeBron's a great player. I mean,
Sure.
He's up there with Jordan or whatever. But, man, if I had one wish, after that happened, boy, I would love to see Larry. Like, I wish I could, like, transform a young Larry Bird to, like, be burying three-pointers in LeBron's eye and talking shit. Oh,
Joe,
my God.
You're 100% right. I mean, I go back to the NBA All-Star Game show where the Eastern Conference wore the white jerseys, you know what I mean? And the Western wore their home away jerseys. And this bullshit that they had this year, the Charles Barkley team, was the Shaquille O'Neal, the OGs of basketball. Joe, that wasn't a fucking All-Star game to me where you had the league players basically and first-year players making an All-Star team, Joe. It just screws the mentality of the game, Joe. And I seen a comment up from Michael Patrick saying something like, I think it was Michael saying something like, if Dennis Rodman or Chris Pafisi said something about, if Rodman played, man, imagine Rodman in today's game of what he was, Joe. And not even Rodman, some of the players, the bad boys, Joe, of Detroit. How many players, Joe, we talk about, yes, LeBron is a God-given person. He's, the chosen one, regardless of what he does now. But back in the day, these son of a bitches nowadays with the slow man and the soft player, they wouldn't have been able to compete, Joe. I mean, going down I still remember AC Green coming down the lane and Bill Lambert taking his goddamn head off. Shit like that. And that, Joe, that wasn't a flagrant foul. That was common foul, 2 shots. Now, Joe, that's a suspension for this year plus next year. It's amazing.
You brought up memories with AC Green. First off, shout out to AC Green. First off, great Jerry curl. I mean, when I think AC, I think of 2 things when I think AC Green. First off, I want to start singing the "Let Your Soul Glow" from Coming to America. That's number 1. My man had a great Jerry curl, right?
He did.
Number two, man. AC Green, it was well known. He was like the only virgin in the NBA.
Yes, he was, and he was like he was the Iron Man too of how many games he played in a row too. So he was the Iron Man plus he was a virgin. So I think if you're out there and you want to become the best player, for years of your stamina, just be a virgin. I guess I have no idea because he came out there. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. With all the groupies following the Lakers during the Showtime era, dude, you ain't banging anything like. But you do give the credit to him, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, but I mean, and and let's keep it real. Magic was his teammate too. Can you imagine? Magic's in the hot tub with like 9 honeys and AC Green, and he's like, "Yo, AC, you want any of this?" Nah, dog, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And you know what though? Let's keep it real though. I mean, AC, give AC Green props, for playing hard and all that stuff. But but no one had more stamina than Wilt Chamberlain, and my man laid, my
Speaking
man
of Will
laid a lot
Chamberlain,
of pipe.
is Porter his son? Do you think that's his son?
Who?
Michael Porter Jr. I think it's that the dude that looks exactly like him. I think he plays for Denver or one of the teams. There was so many rumors that this kid was actually Chamberlain's kid. I got to bring that. I think it's Porter or something like that. They were saying something like a side by side because the mother came out and says, I don't, if it is, it is. But I was like crazy rumors.
Nah, but no, but I think Chamberlain. Well, Chamberlain. Let me think about that for a second. Well, Chamberlain passed in 1999. How old?
Okay, 99. So that would be 26 years old.
I
gotta look up this kid. I gotta look up this kid. After we'll put it. I'm gonna put that on Twitter. Like I don't know what I think it was. I think Porter for something or something like that. What his name is.
Hey man, it's possible. How many kids you think Wilt might have out there?
Him and George Foreman, brother. They got half the United States.
20,000. Wilt Chamberlain, 20,000 women, bro.
20,000, dude.
This gets back to the NBA. I was talking to one of my buddies about this a couple weeks ago. I totally agree with Mike here. He says when you pay guys 2 years or 3 years, $50 million a year, why kill yourself? Look, LeBron and Pop started that shit of taking nights off and Pop sitting players. Greg Popovich, you know what?
Yeah.
I can't stand that motherfucker, dude. Greg Popovich. He gets on my nerves. He sits there and lectures people and shit. Tells you what you're supposed to think, all this crap. And that Spurs team, you know what? They did start this shit. Back when Tim Duncan and Parker and all these guys were getting older, he would sit these guys out and he'd be like, "Oh, it's all about the playoffs." And I get that, but see, the problem with that though is when you tell all your fans and all your ticket holders that nothing matters but the playoffs, guess what you do? What you do is you tell people not to care about your sport from October till April.
Yeah.
Problem is, if you go that long without caring, there's going to be a percentage of fans that are going to be like, you know what? I didn't care this long. I don't even give a shit about the playoffs. What's the point?
And Joe, you're 100% right. With Popovich too, he's the one that started the load management. There was an interview with Ginobili, Manu Ginobili, and I seen it somewhere where they were talking about, players now versus players back then, and he was like, they mentioned Ginobili. He was like, there was a time where you missed 4 or 5 games in a stretch, played 3 games, missed 4 games again, and the playoffs you came back 100%. And he said there was points where he wasn't injured. It was all Popovich saying, "Hey, we need to be healthy for the playoffs. Don't worry about it. We've already, they're always 1 and 2 in the Western Conference. Let's just float by when the playoffs come. That's when we turn it on." But Joe, we talk about, just like with the ticket prices, Joe, we have tickets. We can go to a game. We're not financially dead. We can go to a game anytime. But Joe, what if these, families out there, hey, we got $50. Wow, now's the time. Let's just go to a game, get 5 tickets, hot dogs, whatever. And you want to see a LeBron James. You want to see these dudes play. Right. And they don't freaking play, Joe. I'm just like, my kids looking at me like, where's LeBron? Where's Luka? He's right there on the bench in street clothes. Oh, that's him. Why is he not playing? I'd be pissed as a fan, Joe. But it is what it is. I mean, thanks, Popovich, for starting this bullshit. You're a great coach, but you know what? You started this bullshit. Let's put it that way. Kurt Rambis, Superman.
Yeah, Kurt Rambis. Yeah, Kurt Rambis. He was probably having some fun back in the day.
Oh, dude, he was the baddest white dude out there. He was just he of course he was playing Superman behind the scenes. He was. Him and Magic were probably chilling in the hot tub, Joe. He was getting Magic seconds.
Well, I was gonna say, he had them Clark Kent glasses too. You know what I mean?
Joe, could you imagine him just like going out there and sitting in the hot tub with all these chicks there, and one of the ladies saying, "You're Kurt Rambis," and he puts on the glasses like, "You can call me Superman, baby."
I know, right? Tell me about it. And then the guy, Michael, I guess when you were talking about Porter Jr., he said could be his grandson.
He looks identical to him, Joe. I'll put a split image in the group chat. He looks identical. So many people were saying it, but I'm going to look at that age thing. I don't even know, honestly.
Dave Yarnell, hey fellas, what's up, Dave? How you
Hold
doing?
on, Davey.
As we said before, Michael Pappert Jr. says Chamberlain slept with 20,000 women, as he said.
So how 20,000, dude? How many your bed must be like a California King plus some because you got 20,000 notches on your headboard, dude. Like that's Joe. How many is that a night though? Seriously, think about that.
I don't know.
That's
I mean,
orgy. That's an orgy every night, Joe.
Yeah, I think Wilt was probably. I'm sure he got a lot of action. But he probably was talking a little shit there.
Yeah, 20,000.
That seems kind of hard to do. You know what I mean?
20,000. Jesus God.
I mean, even the good Lord rested on the seventh day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
What was Wilt never resting? You know,
exactly. He didn't take a day off. He didn't take a day off. 24/7, baby. 7 days a week, 365.
I know. He's like, yo, man, it's hard work. You know what I'm saying? Mike Laura says Rambo. I think he means to say Rambus was the best.
Rambus, yeah.
Hey, Rambo was a great movie though.
That was a good ass movie too. All of them. First Blood, yeah, all of them.
Yeah. I was gonna say they don't make movies like Rambo anymore.
No, they don't.
Just like the NBA doesn't make guys like Wilt Chamberlain going out there and slaying, and then like Wilt Chamberlain goes out there, slays, and beats people's ass nightly on the court. Like I did it. Me and my uncle did an old school.
I remember, yes.
Remember we did the old school on Wilt Chamberlain a few years back, and he had 1 year where he averaged what was it? Oh no, he averaged because he played overtime too. He had more minutes than games play. So I forget what it was, but anyway, like his numbers you'd never see ever again, like how he was. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think there was a year where he averaged like 30, 20, and 20, or 30, 20, and 10 or something like that. 20 boards, 10 assists. It was insane. He's amazing.
He was unreal. Mike Pappert Jr. says Ric Flair said he slept with 10,000 women.
That's crazy.
Hey, who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pappert Jr. says back in the day, I saw Doc Magic, Gervin, Dominique Wilkins, Bird. They never took night. Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't care what anybody. The league was better back then.
Agreed.
The league was better back then. I mean, and so like, I mean, what do you think? To me, I feel like the only answer maybe is cut the games. Like maybe you need to go from like 82 to say like 56 to 60, and then space them Johns out. Get rid of the back-to-backs. No more back-to-back games because it's obvious it ain't happening, right? Mm-hmm. So get rid of back-to-backs, cut it down to like 50 some to 60 games, and have maybe you play 2 to 3 a week. Play 2 to 3 a week and space them out. I mean, because what they're doing now sucks.
I agree, Joe. I think you really should. If this load management continues, players that's not even hurt taking nights off with load management. My option would be like, okay, you know what? Number one, it's killing the league. Number one, if the fans, yes, it's killing the fans, but it's killing the league, Joe. The All-Star game was a complete joke. Nobody really watched that shit except for Matt Klung's dunk contest. That's what I watched, But you're right. Take it down to like 56 games a year. No back-to-back games. You do a home, and then you do a 2 away games. This way, it's not flying. I think Steve Kerr said it this year, Joe. One night he played, they didn't game until 11:30 at night on the West Coast. They had to fly to the East Coast, Joe. They get the red eye at 3 a.m. They're playing at 6:30 p.m. He's like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm going to sit half these starters, Joe. To me, the NBA really needs to do something, Joe. And Michael's right. I mean, back in the day, nobody took days off, Joe. Mm-hmm. Nobody did. You played with broken hands, broken feet, whatever you had to do, you played, Joe, no matter what.
Yeah.
I know different times, different days, Joe. Back then, cortisones were every day, I remember Bird saying, hell, I took 2 cortisones before the shot. In the game there, I still went out and played. But those players back then, Joe, they were built different to what we have now. And you blame the league, Joe. You don't just blame the player. You blame the league because you can get away with this shit.
Well, the other thing, and the other thing is too, it is the money too, because if I'm an owner, if you're an owner,
Of
And,
course.
and to Mike Kaepernick Jr. brought this up earlier, where you got guys making $50-60 million a year
Mhm.
over the course of like 4 or 5 years. Well, it does, I know we hate it as fans, but it does make sense to be like, hey, I'm giving this guy $50 million. I don't really give a shit if he plays on a Tuesday night in February in Charlotte. They blow. We should be able to beat them anyway.
Right.
Because
Right.
you're kind of protecting your investment. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Sure, I get that. Yeah. And plus, the owners, Joe, they're never going to come down to 56 games, 60, because it's revenue, it's concessions, it's parking. They're never going to do that because that pays, building the building, the taxes on the building, the luxury tax. That's the owner's revenue there. So they're never going to come back down to it, Joe, because they look at it, in Jerry Jones's eyes. Hey, I put a product out there. I can give two shits about it, but I'm still making money on mine, regardless if we suck or who plays. So that's the owners, though. Yeah.
Yeah, like Mike Kaepernick Jr. with the point here, he says keep the NBA at 82 games and have them man up. If guys are just taking off not to play, fine them and not pay them. The NFL has it right. The owners control the league, not the players. I mean, here's the thing.
But Joe, how do you justify an injury, Joe? How do you justify an injury on an injury report? How can you justify that? Because there's so many ways to get around it. Hey, tendonitis, Joe, that can happen overnight just from getting up out of a chair. Out of your knees there. Joel Embiid, while he's not playing, he's got tendonitis. Okay, what, this fucking happened in 2 seconds ago? I can't find a level, Joe, of is he really hurt or is it what the hell is it? Is it bullshit? I can't. I just can't find it.
Well, and like I can't say that I disagree with him. I don't see it ever happening unless there is a lockout where they're locked out for like where they almost have to miss a year and get everybody, and everybody's like, oh shit, I'm missing these paychecks. But the problem with the 82 games is, though, it's so many games that the cream always usually rises to the top. If you shorten that, John, to like 56 to 60 games, then each of those games is going to be so much more meaningful, which means the players, you're going to have to play your stars because you're going to have to be like, well, we need to get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like each game's going to be so much more meaningful. So you're not going to have the excuse of like Steve Kerr, where he's coming from the West Coast. You're flying and it's 6:30 and you're playing like the freaking Wizards or the Hornets, or hey, sadly to say, because we suck now, the Sixers. You know what I mean? I mean, it sucks that I got to say that, but you know what I mean? You're playing a team that's not that good, and you're going to be like, you know what? Hey, my guy's got, my guy's groin's a little sore. He was pulling a Wilt Chamberlain last night. He had a couple babes in his bed, so we got to rest him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's just so many ways to get around it, though. I mean, you can't say the injuries nowadays, Joe. They happen in a spur of a second, so you can't put the limitations on is he hurt or not. Sit out versus load management. I just can't see it.
See, that's again. Mike makes great points. I don't see it ever happening though. Like to me, it's like what's the saying that the toothpaste is out of the what's the saying? The toothpaste is out of the tube.
I never heard of that one, Joe.
What? I don't know. I heard it before, but I'm probably messing it up, but whatever. But like, I guess you're not going to be able to get it back in there. You know what I mean? Like, like, hey, NBA, stop guarantee contracts. I mean, I feel like that ship sailed because we're looking at a league. I mean, it started in the 80s, back in the glory days of the NBA with Magic and Larry Bird and Jordan. This is a league that hasn't, like, you look at the NFL. The NFL sells its stars, not really necessarily. Like, the NFL will sell certain stars, but let's be honest. A lot of times the NFL sells the product of the NFL. True. The NFL sells the teams. The NFL will sell the teams, right? And then the NFL sells fantasy football, betting, right? And so, the NFL has stars, but let's be honest. Even if Pat Mahomes is like the star of this league, if Pat Mahomes gets hurt and they play on Christmas, people are going to miss Pat Mahomes, but guess what? They're still going to have millions of people watching that game because they're going to be betting that, John.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And fantasy football, oh shit, Pat Mahomes isn't playing. Well, you know what? Somebody picked up Carson Wentz, and they're still watching that shit to see if Carson Wentz does something. The NBA is different because the NBA has sold their stars. Like, you know, going back to the 80s, you had Dr. J commercials, you had Larry Bird, you had Magic Johnson, and no one was marketed more than Michael Jordan. I mean,
I'll be honest with you, Joe. That's when I went out and bought the Converse weapons back in the day. You know what I mean? With the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, all these different players out there. You're right. They market the players, and now they still do that because, just like you said at the beginning of the show, Joe, if a scrub ass team is playing, the Washington Wizards, I can't even name one freaking person on their team. They're mentioned in their best player just to spotlight it, and then he doesn't even play, Joe. You know, they're still doing that. The NFL, I give them so much credit because they built it so much higher, Joe. They're going overseas to play, and they're not just saying, you know, I know Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, they're big names, but they put the Philadelphia Eagle title first. You know what I mean? And that's what sells because the NBA, man, they need to go back 20 years ago, Joe, and bring, you know, God rest his soul, bring back David fucking Stern a little bit. Put his mentality in the NFL. Because Silverman, you turned this game into something that I can't even watch anymore, dude. Really.
I know. I was going to say, I mean, I feel like I could do a whole show on how shitty of a commissioner Adam Silver is. I think Adam Silver absolutely blows.
Big time.
But you know what's sad though? Now guys like us are saying it. Guys like Mike Kaepernick Jr. say it. My buddy Johnny Teets, me and him talk about it all the time. He's like, dude, the league blows.
Yeah.
And Johnny's a big basketball head. We're all in agreement. You know what the problem is though? The league is still making tons of money because these younger generations, and particularly overseas, they don't give a shit about each individual team. They care about the players. Yeah. Like the individual players, and so the NBA is still they're still making money. So unfortunately, dude, they don't really give a shit about what guys like us think. They care about their brand and what money they're making and all that shit. You know what I mean?
And you're 100% right, Joe. Look at all the Europeans coming over to the NBA now. I mean, it's not just college players from the our league in college basketball. It's all the overseas players that are really taking over the league. Half the first round picks, Joe, are from overseas. That we know nothing about. Where's this dude from? Going back to like Tony Kukoc. Remember him with the Bulls? Like he's the next best Michael Jordan from overseas. Luka. We knew nothing about these dudes.
I know.
Come over. It's the names. I give them credit because it's overseas action. They're building the world to watch NBA. But to me, old school, I fucking hate it, Joe. I really do, man. And that's just not with the Sixers, Joe. That's the entire NBA, honestly.
Yeah, can we have Adam Sandler go overseas and find a guy for the Sixers? I mean, that's what we need, right? What was it? What was his name in that movie? I forget.
Oh my god, I forgot. My god.
Was it like Her Gomez or something, or is that his name in real life? I forget.
I don't know.
Because the guy that played actually is a real player.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I'm butchering his name though because I want to say Her Gomez, but then I'm wondering if that's really him, if that's the real dude.
Now you got me going back and watching this movie tonight, Joe. Probably.
Yeah, well, so speaking, we've done a lot of talk about injuries, and you might hurt yourself playing ball, and I'll tell you what. You could even hurt yourself in a hot tub like Magic Johnson with like 9 or 10 girls. You know what I'm saying? Or like my man Wilt Chamberlain with the 20,000. Now, Wilt was a stud. Wilt Chamberlain. My man played every single game, so he never had to call Jason Fine, Paul.
Right.
But who might have to? Us regular mortals. You know what I mean? Like, hey, man, one of us could get hurt out there. Say you, say you pull a groin.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Joe, you better call Jason Fine, right? 1-800-HURT-123, personal injuries, workman's comp, personal injury claims, motor vehicle slip and fall. 3 legal locations throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey, Philadelphia, Cherry Hill, Pittsburgh. Mention the Sully Squad, and guess what? You're part of the family. 33% no recovery, no fee, Joe. So I wish I could call him, but I talked to Jason a couple of days ago, Joe, and I asked him, being a Sixer fan, do I have any, do I have anything? He's like, Paul, we're all fucked. So that is not something you can do if you're a Sixer fan. I'm sorry about that. But if you get injured, give him a call, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say Sixers fans get nothing. They don't even get a 40 ounce. You know what I mean? We don't even, Oh my God, I just thought of something, Paul.
Oh, God. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It costs more to get some 40s than it does to get into the Sixers game. 40s
Damn.
have gone up a little bit, right? I remember back in the day, you could get a Hurricane for what, like $2.50, $3?
Yeah, well, Joe, I mean, I'll go a little bit deeper than that. I used to drink the Mad Dog for $2.99 for a pint of that. Nowadays that's the same price as a damn Sixer game, brother. You know what I mean? Back in the day. Now it's like seven. I went to the store 2 days ago, and Mad Dog was like $7.99 for the same shit. A bottle of Mad Dog. I might as well just drink a bottle of Mad Dog and get drunk and not watch the Sixers.
Sixers will make you drink 2 bottles of Mad Dog.
You're right. So either way, we're screwed as fans, Joe. You watch them, you're going to double the money on alcohol.
You know what's funny? Before we get out of here, I got a Mad Dog brings me back. I wish it's a shame Sean's not on because our senior year we had a class trip to we went to New York for a class trip and we took a bus. So me and Sean, we got away with it. It worked out great. We had the bright idea. We got orange Mad Dog, right?
Oh.
So I grabbed, we each grabbed orange Gatorade bottles, poured that John off, and poured the Mad Dog in the Gatorade bottle and drank them on the bus on the way up to New York.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
That's my Mad Dog story. Yeah, and it was funny because they had like we were in high school, so they had like maybe they had a couple chaperones. You know what? Come to think of it, I had a pretty good buzz on that bus. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I know. But yeah, but we went to New York and it was fun. And then we went to you know what? We went to actually they had a what the hell was it? What, the Hard Rock? Remember they have the Hard Rock restaurant
up in New York?
Yeah. We went to the Hard Rock restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, we went there and I don't know. We went to AFAO Schwartz. Yeah, it was. I don't know. You brought up Mad Dog. That had me thinking of my trip. That it's funny. That might have been the last time in my life I had Mad Dog. That was damn, dude. I'm getting old. I'm going on. That was That was December of 1995, my senior year. So I'm going on. It'll be 30. Wow. Never mind, dude.
Yeah, I know, Joe. We're fucking getting old, brother.
Yeah, we go. All right. Hey, one more comment here. Michael Papernick Jr. says Colt 45 from the corner bar.
Man, that was Mad Dog, Colt 45, and OE 800 was in the Hurricanes, brother. That's what I used to get down with all the time back in my I can handle that shit days. Now it's just a little bit different.
I know. Well, that was back when getting 40s was fun back then because we used to have to either get a runner or I had my buddy Kino was from Spain and he had a beard. My man looked like he was 25 at 17, 18. So we would send Kino into the friggin' 40 store. You know what I mean? We'd be like, yo, bro, can you go in? And Kino's such a great guy. But Kino would be like, oh, dude, I don't know. And we're like, come on, bro. You look like you're 30. You know what I mean? He got in there, dude. He used to hook us up all the time. It was great.
Nothing wrong with that. Now you're going to have kids on your next show. Your parents checking into your show, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Now my kid just went on a fucking class trip and got a bottle of Gatorade and put some fucking vodka, colored vodka in there now.
I know. You know what's so funny? I know not. You know, and I'm actually starting to laugh because my girlfriend watches the show or whatever. And
she has 2 kids, right?
Yeah. Well, her son's such a great kid. Yeah. Both their kids are awesome, right? And it's so funny. I'm like, I might get in trouble. I don't want to give him any ideas. You know what I mean?
What happened, son? I watched Joe's show and he said this is how you do it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know, right? Oh crap, I'm gonna get in trouble here.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, if you didn't watch it live, Joe, maybe we could edit that part out a little bit,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know what? Because sometimes I get on these stories, I'm like, I'm
the same way on the Cowboy show. I tell all my stories of back in the day, it's just insane, the good days,
Mike Packard Jr. says beer bubble, wild Irish rose.
I've never had Irish rose.
Yeah, I don't know. And 1987 was his senior year.
Michael's older than I am. My senior year was 90.
God bless you, Mike. First off, thanks for watching the show, and thanks for being older. Thank you very much.
I am not the senior citizen anymore, Joe. I am not. I am happy.
Oh man, hang on. One more here. Mike Papernick says we order a keg from the beer distribution at 17 and pay the delivery driver 40, so he would let us keep the keg. Yo, another great idea.
Yes, it is. This show is sponsored by back in the day, how to get beer for nothing and not get caught.
Actually, you know what? I got one more great story. So my buddy Billy, right? His dad. So his dad was like his dad's a cop, right? And like but Billy was a big guy. He's like 6'2", like really tall. You know what I mean? And big guy. And so Billy used to get into this place. What was it? Dangerous Curves back in the day.
Oh,
remember
brother,
Dangerous Curves?
Dude, that used to be right around the corner from me, basically, right? Was it on the boulevard? Or
No,
that
it was
that was down in that was State Road, because I used to live on I used to live on Edmond Street, Tacony. That was right down the way. I mean, I can get out drunk and come back home, you know?
Yes. All right. So dig this, right? So we're like, so he got in there before with his dad. So me and one of my other buddy, me and my buddy Paul, he's like, all right, guys. He's like, look, let me walk in first. He's like, give me about 5 minutes. Give me about 5 minutes. He's like, and then you guys go. And we're like, all right, gotcha, right? So we're sitting out there, we're waiting and waiting. We give it like 5-10 minutes. He wait, did he page us? This might have been back with page. No, it was text. I don't know. I guess it was text.
You sure it wasn't the beeper, Joe?
You know, it could have been. No, I think it was. No, I had cell phone at this point. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so we walk in, and it was like the greatest thing ever. He's like talking to the bouncer. He's like, Joe, Paul. He's like, I graduated with these guys. We're like, what's up, dude? How you doing? We're like high-fiving. Walked right in. It was great.
Dude, that was the play it off right there. You both won Oscars. Like, oh, that's my boy. Oh my God, come on in. Because I did the same thing when I first moved here. I think I was like 18, and we wanted to. You remember Daydreams right down by Dangerous Curves? Daydreams was the one that was totally butt-ass naked. We went there one time, and I couldn't drink. 18 to get in, 21 to drink. And my buddy was at the bar. He did the same shit, Joe. He's like, yo, Paul, what's up, man? Yo, we just graduated from Nova. How you feel? I'm like, dude. He's like, let me buy you a drink. And I'm like, yeah. I was like 19, or I think it was 19 or 20, Joe. I was definitely under 21.
Oh, that's funny. You know what's funny? Mike's brother could have been the bouncer. Mike Papernick Jr. says, my brother bounced at Dangerous Curves.
That was probably him.
Well, thank you to your brother. he got a, you know what I mean? Thank you very much.
Oh, man. This show is sponsored by the memories of two over-the-hill guys. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
Hey, man, you know what? Hey, a lot of times you have your fun. A lot of times it's more fun going out, like, you know what I mean, when you're young like that, you know what I mean. You have to, it's fun,
But I tell you what, Joe, I think with the Sixers this year, I think I can't wait for another road trip. You and I, that we take up to the Pirates this year. Hopefully, we can take another one. Get over the Sixer bullshit. Coming up.
Yeah. No, maybe we'll have to do another PNC trip or something.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
But all right, well, look, yeah, I guess we'll get ready to wrap up here. I was going to talk a little football, but I'll do some football next week. I mean, the Eagles did cut Darius Slay, so we'll see what happens there. And then, the squad will be back next week. We'll be talking a lot of NFL free agency. I mean, tonight was the Sixers night, and I got to keep it real, man. I can't imagine wanting to talk too much more Sixers, because the Sixers will make you want to slam some. I was gonna say Dangerous Curves. It'll make you want to slam some Mad Dog and all that stuff.
I mean, better yet, Joe, you can just go to both of them. Go to Dangerous Curve, go to Daydreams. Just like Mike said, Tattletales. I remember that place as well. My God, and with this Mad Dog and go old school. Why not?
Yeah. Well, Mike's around my age, so Mike couldn't have been the bouncer. It says he bounced at Curves and Tattletales.
Shit, then I didn't know Mike back in the day, but he probably seen my ass drunk at Curves a lot of times then,
Yeah, who knows? Maybe 3 out one time, Paul.
We used to go there after the football games when I used to coach there. We get done at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, go home. My wife used to work, and she's just like, go out, have fun. I used to go there drunk as hell, come back at 5 o'clock in the morning. So Mike, man, he probably threw him. He's like, this son of a bitch, this Asian kid, get him out of here again. Mike probably threw me out a couple of times, most likely.
Yeah, that's funny, man. But Paul, man, thanks a lot for hopping on, dude. It was a great time, because I definitely wanted to do the show. I really wanted to do the show tonight, and we always have a great time when we always have a great time shooting the shit,
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I love talking with you. You love the sport first, just like I do, Joe. And it's just like when we get together, we reminisce, and it's great hearing someone that can vent to you as much as you want to do about a certain team. You know, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, Joe, you're an Eagles fan, but we see it truthfully and respectfully through both our eyes. So I had the best time venting about the Sixers, Joe, and I enjoy it, man. Anytime, I appreciate it, and I can't wait to have you on a couple of my shows this year.
Yeah, definitely. Are you are you when are you and Dave doing the Cowboys, John?
We're actually, let's see. There's a schedule, Joe, this week. We're going to do the 215 Boys, which is not 215 Boys anymore, Joe. It is actually going to Cowboys Weekly. We'll be doing that, and I'll be back on later this week, too. The new show, Joe, that I have Inside the Octagon, UFC, will be back, myself and Josh. So those are my two shows, Joe. But we changed the name to the Cowboys Show, Cowboys Weekly, Joe, because even though I lived in Philadelphia for 30 years, I'm not 8-1. I'm 814 now, Joe. You know, even though I have the 26 number, Dave lives in Delco, so we thought it was appropriate just to be the Cowboys Weekly. We wanted to call it the Cowboys Shit Show, but then I'd probably get banned for that. So it's the Cowboys Weekly now, Joe.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, man, like a lot of good football coming up, and like I said, I'll be back. I'll be back next week with the squad talking NFL free agency. Hey, shoot. I mean, like we said, teams already making moves out there, and we'll see who the Eagles keep, who they don't, and with Miles Garrett, we'll see what happens there. So, a lot of fun times coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait to check that show with you and the boys, Nick, Diego, and Sean next week, because I really want to see what you guys are going to do, Joe. You don't have to plug and play players. You can still get depth through the draft. You can give up some draft picks. Miles Garrett, I'm curious to see what you guys do. You know, because you have the money to do it as well, and you're not just plugging and playing, Joe. You're building for the future here. So I'm curious to see what you guys are going to do. You know, if you guys, sign Becton, sign Bond, I want to see what you guys think about all those things, and plus Garrett as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thanks for checking us out, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Hard to enjoy venting about the Sixers, but
it can't get any worse, Joe. It can't get any worse, brother.
Hey, miracles do happen. You know what? I like my niece too much. Here's a question. You know what? All right. If the Sixers offered you like $10 million, would you give Joel Embiid your healthy meniscus?
So I can barely walk right now, brother. So ain't no damn way I can barely get around now. I need my freaking meniscus. I need my knees. I need everything, Joe. At $10 million, I don't know how long I have left on the earth, Joe. Oh, then again, Joe, look, I'm 53. I can have the party of my life. I could be the Asian Wilt Chamberlain, brother. You know what I mean? For a year or so.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, take that money, bro.
You're right. Take the bag like NBA players do now, right? Why not?
I know.
Why
not? Take the bag, and then you could use some of that money to go and see Dr. Wilhelm I don't know, Wilhelm Einerschmidt or whatever the hell his name was.
I'll go in. You're right. I get $10 million, Joe. You're offering me 10. I'll spend $2 million over there with Eastern Germany, the doctor. I'll be good to go, Joe. Then I come back and I can start playing. Maybe I can catch up to Wilt 20,000, Joe. I got a long ass way to go, but you know what I mean?
All right. Well, hey, it's been real, everybody. We'll see you next week. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I guess that would help. Here we go.